Hello everybody, Dokkan Assets here. Today we are back with another Dragon Ball figure news video. Back at it again with another one of these bad boys for another 2-week summary. I was going to tell you that we actually don't have too much news, but I think I have more than I actually anticipated to have, which isn't a bad thing, because these always seem to go that way, huh? But we're going to go over everything that we had for the last week. We have some figure releases. We have a couple of new things, I believe. So let's go ahead and get started into it. Obviously, we're going to start off at the usual dbzfigures.com. For some reason, the preview images for these aren't loading. I'm not sure why exactly, but whatever. First, we have these two drum boys, which I believe that we took a look at a previous figure news video, though I don't remember off the top of my head. Basically, we have these two drum figures here. These are definitely some better images than what we saw last time, though. This is like from that same premium-ish kind of line that King Piccolo on the throne that we took a look at a while ago. It's the same type of dealio from this, and unfortunately, just like it's the same type of dealio with that King Piccolo in terms of the actual, you know, like way that the figure is made, sculpt, paint, stuff like that. It's also the same price point. That's a big yikes if you ask me. That is basically a $200 figure for just one of these bad boys. Yeah, yikes. Kind of can't believe that that's what they're charging for these, especially since they are not that tall. They're only 25 centimeters, which is like kind of average for a figure. So yeah, that's going to be yikes for me, Chief. I'll be on the lookout for a review for these guys. Whenever I see figures like this, I always do like to look at, you know, somebody who actually decides to go out and buy it and take a look at it. I will say the only thing that kind of stinks about this figure is that if you're a fan of Drum, which, I mean, all two of you that are out there, I'm sorry, bro. Last time I clowned and I was joking that there's no Super Baby fans, people actually got mad for it, and I was just kidding, bro. I'm sorry. So to all of you Drum fans out there, listen, bro, but there has to be less Drum fans than there is Super Baby 2. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm clowning around, bro. Regardless, if you are a fan of Drum, or if you are a fan of Dragon Ball, right, like OG Dragon Ball, and you're trying to collect those figures, this is kind of an L, because unfortunately, you know, we're probably not going to get a Drum figure, like, ever again. So this is going to be the one, and I guess technically two if you want both of the color versions, that you're going to have to pick up. So, yeah, kind of unfortunate in that regard, but that is the big boy Drum. I will be curious to see how that guy turns out as well, considering the fact that the King Piccolo also kind of turned out a little bit wacky as well. We have this interesting thing here, which is a brand new line of Dragon Ball merchandising from a Korean brand. It's their 15th anniversary. Apparently this brand is called Critic. I'm not a clothes guy, so maybe some of y'all would know, but I don't. And obviously this is just different merchandising featuring some various characters, and then obviously, you know, featuring the brand logo. Funny enough, whenever I see collab stuff like this, like, I understand that it's for people who are fans of the franchise and who are also fans of the brand. But whenever I see merch like this, I'm like, man, that would look so cool if it just didn't have that awful brand name splattered all over the design. Maybe people who like the brand think about it like that way too. I don't know. But I guess it's sort of like a hype beast type of meme. You know, it's like this whole Supreme thing where, you know, obviously it has the Supreme logo on it. So people are going to be interested in it. But I mean, besides that type of stuff, I mean, the smaller items look okay. I definitely am a fan of the the Goku rather, coming through the Kamehameha here. I'm sorry, I was confusing myself with this over here. And I do kind of like these all over prints again if they didn't have the logo, but I do like the hat. I would love to just get like a simple hat, and that's cool with the Scouter. See, that's a little bit more low key. Like, I don't mind that as much, you know. But I do like that hat there. I would love to just get a Capsule Corp snapback at some point in the future. But yeah, pretty cool stuff. Obviously, if you're interested, you can, of course, go to their actual website and pick it up. Of course, because it is a Korean brand, I believe you'll have to get some of it imported. But nonetheless, pretty cool. Always nice to see more variation. What does that even mean, brain? Variety in Dragon Ball merchandising. There we go. Thank you. We obviously had our Dragon Ball weekly news for August 23rd. Not too much in terms of figure news here. Basically, what was shown off was obviously Kefla was released in Japan, and they interviewed the project leader as he talks about the design of the figure. The 2 points they focused the most on were the hair, as it's the most notable part of the figure, and also the body was sleek yet muscular figure. You can read about the post here, which I believe would just be their post about the Kefla figure, yeah, which you took a look at a little while ago. And then obviously Dragon Ball Average Motion 5 did release, which we also took a look at last time. So nothing too crazy in terms of figures as well, though. And we'll get to see some final pictures of this bad girl right here, the 2 Videl figures from the Glitter and Glam line. You know, it's just the alternate colors or whatever. Both released, so we will get to see some final versions of that figure today as well. Obviously, we also had the release of the newest Ichiban show. That was literally the thumbnail for the last Dragon Ball figure news video with all these crazy shenanigans here. They did release the prices, though. There is some good and some bad, if I am being 100% with you. So we expected Omega and Cell to be around the $45 to $50 price range because they're technically Masterlize or Master Lease, still don't know how to say it, extra. I've heard it said both ways by different unboxing people. At least on the Big Bad Toy Store, as you can see here, we have Cell ranged at 50 smackers and Omega Shinron at 54. It does vary a little bit from site to site with the bigger figures because I think they think maybe just because there's not like a set price, they can just kind of charge a little bit more maybe, because I feel like I've seen Omega for just 50 at other places. But it is interesting because I have seen at basically every single store for Broly and for Trunks, they are charging a little bit more, and by a little bit more, I mean a lot more, as in 10 bucks more than the usual Ichiban show price. Now, I suppose it does make a little bit of sense because obviously they are a lot bigger than the regular figures that are usually a part of an Ichiban Kuji set. You know, like we have the Gogeta, who's 35, which is, you know, your probably regular size, but still kind of an L, especially if you're trying to get all this stuff, because as you can see as well, the big bad boy Broly as well is also priced at $45, which is definitely way too much. And unfortunately, they're even going on a bigger L, because as you can see here, at least on Big Bad Toy Store, again, I believe that they're priced on 50 on other websites, which is the average, but a duo pack with obviously the Goku Vegeta that we talked about last time, when our last duo pack from an Ichiban Kuji set, that being the Goku and Frieza from the fight with Jiren, was 50 smackers for the both of them. So kind of unfortunate that some of the prices are a little bit higher on this set. Obviously, for certain ones of these figures are worth it, but I can tell you a good thing, and that's actually that they reduced the price of the Cell Jr., which is great. If you guys remember, I talked about how the unfortunate fate of this Cell Jr. was probably going to be that this guy was going to be 35 bucks, just like the Cybermen, because obviously he's the same size as the Cybermen, and $35 price tag for that guy was absolutely ludicrous. Although I still think that this is way too much for a figure of this size, right? It is definitely better than 35 bucks, right? It being 25 bucks instead. I would still prefer for it to be 15 or 10 maybe. You know, 20 would be maybe the maximum I would prefer, but I gotta say, reducing the price on them is literally only a good thing, and I think that that shows in some regards they're listening. The rest of this is kind of a mess, I'm not gonna lie to you, but I digress. Obviously, in that regard, it's a good thing because obviously, you know, at least with these other figures and their price tags, we still have a bigger figure on our hands than we do for the Cell Jr. because obviously he's tiny. I wanted to check real quick as well in terms of the other websites that I usually do to buy figures on. I'm pulling it up on eNight Media here because this is the site I've been using recently. Interestingly enough, they don't actually like have it when you just search Dragon Ball, so we have to go Omnibus because this is technically an Omnibus Kuji, or like a variation of it. Here we go. So, alright, so it is priced around the same. I find that E-Night Media tends to be a little bit less expensive than Big Bad Toy Store. As you can see, right, that instead of 36 bucks, it's 32. And this isn't some, like, member special deal or something like that other figure websites do. I'm looking at you, Tokyo Takumon, up there, pinned on my browser. Obviously, this is just for everybody, so you can get them for a couple bucks less, which is nice. Trunks being 40 is a little bit more reasonable. Cell being 45, a little bit more reasonable. Even the Saiyan being closer to the price tag that I would want. Obviously, Omega being more closer to 50. So, still too expensive for Goku and Vegeta, but I digress. I would recommend getting them from this site if you are going to pick these guys up. But that is about it for the pricing for those figures. I just wanted to kind of share that information because I think pricing is always something that's a little bit confusing when it comes to Dragon Ball figures. And I think I will make a solo video about that in the future at some point because, man, oh man, is it a crazy world out there when it comes to the pricing of these figures. Alright, so the week of August 30th, sorry, I had to take a drink of water, hydrate or dihydrate, we have another episode of Dragon Ball Weekly News. Nothing too crazy in terms of figures yet. Again, obviously, they only do a little bit of a summary. We did get some stuff for Dragon Ball Heroes, which was cool, and a lot of Dragon Ball Super card game shenanigans, but nothing really, unfortunately, in terms of figures this time around. But we did get here, let's see. Okay, so this is just talking about updates to the website, my bad. Alright, so yeah, so basically just stuff about the card game. Obviously, if you'd like to actually view the episode, I almost just said the webisode, I think, which technically isn't incorrect. That's an old term, though. Obviously, I will leave the link to the description in the description for the website. This is very interesting. Mini arcade cabinet for Nintendo Switch. What is this? So it's for your Switch. In a new series from the official Dragon Ball site, they're revealing products related to popular manga from around the world. Its first iteration, we have this mini accessory that holds your Nintendo Switch, making it look like an arcade cabinet. Not sure if the pieces are cardboard or plastic, but the graphics on the side look nice. It's going to be easy to put together. You can hide the cabinets behind... Wait, you can hide the cables behind the cabinet and play games like Kakarot. That is actually pretty neat, but I don't really see where the Switch goes. Does this, like, come down or something? Check their website. They have cabinets designs for other anime and games. No price, but it's scheduled to release this month. Interesting. I would love to see if this got released stateside, because that'd definitely be something that I would be interested in. Obviously, they have a bunch of different anime here. Disagree. Sorry. Every single time, bro. I never agree to the privacy policy of these websites. Maybe it's just my internet that's being funny. I don't know why everything's loading so slow. I apologize about that. But I digress. Let's go ahead and move on. Ooh, look at the little teaser we have here. Obviously, the next issue of V-Jump has dropped. Ooh, I like the way that they're updating the website with this stuff. Okay, guys, I see you. That's what's up. That's sick. Okay, so and to take another big sip. There are figures for the upcoming month of September 2021. Keep in mind that this is the Shonen Jump schedule for Japan, so it may take an extra month or two for the figures to release in the US or wherever you are. That is always the case. Most excited for the Imagination Works Vegeta and the Gigantic Series Golden Frieza. Yes. So obviously, as you can see here, he is the first one on the list. I am actually so excited for this figure. I'm really hoping he fares a lot better than Goku. Literally, the trailer that they made for this guy was what convinced me to get him because he looks so much better than the Goku in terms of the design, and honestly makes me want a Goku 2.0 already. Hopefully this guy ends up being really cool. He is still available on Big Bad Toy Store for 115 bucks, which is pretty expensive, but for a figure of this articulation and made with the real cloth and how big he is, I think it's alright. Could be a little bit less, so always could be better priced on figures. We have the SH Figuarts Tien and Chaozu releasing, which is awesome that they included the boy. Funny enough, that Demon King Piccolo figure that I was literally just talking about, the version C of it, which I think is just another color scheme for it. The Wafer stickers are releasing, the set with Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta in it, which is cool. We also have the Dragon Ball, a little bit of a spelling mistake there. Dragon Ball Super FES, the set with the Gogeta that was based off of the Gogeta Blue, and then they made it into the Z Gogeta, but he doesn't have the halo, so it doesn't make any sense. And the ridiculously ugly Super Saiyan 4 Goku as well. Ooh, your boy excited about this one. A Dragon Ball Z World Collectible Figure Extra Costume Set. Obviously, we literally never see these figures, you know, or never see these figures in figure form. Never see these costumes in figure form, rather. My bad. Thank you, Brain, for working at 50% capacity. I'm excited for these, though, because obviously these are pretty unique outfits that we do not get often. Burning Fighters Volume 1 of this Goku. Hopefully it does end up completing the various pieces of art that this could be based off of. Another figure that I'm really excited for. Obviously that being the Dragon Ball Z GX Materia, the Yamcha. Everybody is excited for this figure. I think the GX Materia line has absolutely been crushing it in terms of Dragon Ball lines, and of course sculpted by the homie Varroque Varquo. Still don't know it, still have heard it multiple ways. Everybody is excited for this figure as well. I know everybody's excited for this set as well, with the monster himself, this beautifully sculpted Broly figure. Of course, the Ichiban Kuji back to the film, featuring a bunch of different Dragon Ball characters from the movies, and a blue-haired Broly figure, which we literally never get. So I'm very excited to cop all of that. As well, obviously, we do have the Gigantic Series Golden Frieza. Of course, this figure is very expensive, but, you know, the Gigantic Series is kind of the gimmick, is that, you know, they're big. They're the Gigantic Series, my guy. You can still pre-order this, actually, it looks like. I would like to get one figure from the Gigantic Series. I think probably the UI Omen Goku, just because that figure looks amazing, and I think it might be my favorite one out of all the Gigantic Series figures. Anyway, though, this does look very cool. And obviously, you know, that is it for the month. And we have two more things real quick. That was also from the month for the Jump Right scheduled for September. For one, we do have the Frieza Re-Release from SH Figure. So this was something that was announced that I actually saw floating around a little bit. I think this was a rumor before this was actually confirmed. That's kind of ringing a bell in my memory. I could be wrong on that, though. Just announced on the official Dragon Ball website is a new coloring for Frieza in his fourth form. Of course, this being the final form. I think this is a lazy attempt at a figure marketing. This is the third iteration, really, of his third form. While there still isn't a... Wait, what? Oh, I think they made a spelling mistake there. Third iteration of his fourth form, I think is what they meant to say. I think they maybe just copied and pasted there. Oh, there still isn't a third xenomorph form, right? His, like, big, ugly alien form. From the pictures, the color looks cooler than the original, but it's hard to tell it's hard to tell until side by side is made. This would be an easy skip for me, but he does come with the 5-star Namekian Dragon Ball, so if you want to complete that set, you need this figure. Yeah, which is kind of unfortunate that they gave it to him. For those of you who are trying to complete that, obviously, you know, if you want it, you gotta buy him. So yeah. We also have no word on the cost, unfortunately, but this figure will be available in February of 2021. Let me know if you plan to order. And apparently, this is going to be a $35 figure. Awesome. So this is going to be kind of under that umbrella of the more recent SH Figuarts cheaper figures that they have been doing. They've been doing a couple of figures recently that have been a little bit cheaper, and not only that, they've been doing some re-releases of some older figures, some event exclusives in cheaper form. Obviously, recently we got that Super Saiyan 2, or I guess technically Super Saiyan full power Goku, right? The one with the different faces that people were conflicted on. We obviously as well have the event exclusive Rose re-release, looking a little bit different, and now we have this Frieza, which looks really cool. Obviously the shiny paint job on his purple is absolutely fantastic. Because this is a $35 SH Figuarts figure, your boy might end up picking this up, just because if I can get an SH Figuarts figure under triple digits for the price tag, I am always willing to pick it up. Thank you, Tamashi. So I might actually cop this guy myself. We'll see. I do have the first form for his SH Figuarts. I do need to crack open at some point. And I do kind of hope that they make a full power one at some point. I don't know how they would engineer that, but Tamashi is like magicians when it comes to this stuff, so I would not be surprised if they make it work somehow. Regardless, though, really like the paint job on the purple here. Please let me know what you think of this in the comments section, of course. I will say the only thing that I'm not really a fan about of this figure is obviously you can clearly see that disgusting purple joint right there on the shoulder, and unfortunately they didn't paint it with the shiny paint. I do understand, because obviously if they did give that the shiny paint job, then of course that paint would rub away in like 0.2 seconds, so they gave it just a little bit of a darker purple, but I don't know. I mean, if you hide it well, then obviously, you know, with your pose, it won't matter as much. But you shouldn't have to do that, you know, for a posable figure. I don't know. Either way, though, it might still be worth it just to have this guy stand next to Cooler, since I am getting the Cooler SH Figuarts figure. We'll have to see what becomes of that. But definitely worth the pickup if you don't have a Final Form Frieza and you are into collecting SH Figuarts figures, or if you just have a Goku and Frieza on your shelf. This would definitely be a pretty affordable option for a posable figure. Very cool stuff. And obviously they got him in a bunch of iconic Frieza poses as well. And they have him, of course, fighting the Saiyan race on Earth Goku here too. And lots of great face sculpts for this guy, we'll say. Obviously a lot of iconic looks for the character. I love the smirk. Obviously, you know, we have the gritting teeth face. We have the screaming face. All kinds of good stuff here. It's kind of weird that, like, this one looks more like a smile and this one looks more angry, which I think is not the same face. It's kind of hard to tell, if I'm being 100% honest. Obviously, these are the same photos, because it might just be the angle with Goku. Regardless, though, moving on from our boy Frieza, we do have another figure release, which actually we'll see again when Baggy talks about it. But this was actually a re-release that I ain't even going to cap with you. I am really excited for, because this is a figure that I've wanted to pick up for a fat minute now, and I'm glad that it's getting a re-release. The Hurry Flying Nimbus Goku figure. You don't get too many figures with Goku surfing on the Nimbus cloud, but here's one from Impressa that was announced under the radar. So yeah, basically the last one that I can remember too is obviously the Kid Goku, the older one that got a re-release. I forget what the technical name was. I think it was just Quinto Un in the title. Obviously, they list a couple of other ones here too. This guy will be released in 2022. Again, this was a previous released figure, but they're just re-releasing it like they do occasionally here in the States. And I like this one because obviously we literally never get anything Namek Goku we never get anything adult Goku related rather with Nimbus. So it's very cool to see these guys tagging up for a figure here. Definitely gonna cop this myself. I'm very excited for that. Anything with Nimbus you can get your hands on is great. And that is it for DragonBallFigures.com. Thank you guys so much for always holding it down with the great summaries of everything that is coming out. Of course, link to them in the description below. And let's go ahead and move on to our boy Baggy. And let me close all these other tabs here. So we left off at the BOS Goku, and we are continuing on here. This was just some talk about don't worry about the Ichiban Kuji sets, because obviously, you know, we'll know a little bit later in the coming months / month. And we do actually get some info about these shenanigans, which, I mean, I guess you can kind of assume by this point in the video that obviously these guys are getting re-released overseas and in other countries because, you know, we literally just took at the websites that, you know, have them overseas. So obviously, you know, they're getting released overseas. I have not seen any information about the Yu-Gi-Oh one. I have seen that the Ultra Impact, I believe, is going to, but we'll see if Baggy mentions that later. Alright, so we did take a look at the Tag Fighters Goku last time around, but if we do have some more information about these figures slowly coming in, and some other interesting information too that we'll get to that may or may not be the title of this video. I don't know, I gotta figure out what I'm still gonna do for the title of it, but I digress. For those wondering, the January Tag Fighters was just an early reveal. It usually happens for some series, but never for Dragon Ball. Interesting. December distributor deadline is August 26th, so the earliest rest of January will be released is the 27th, or I'm sorry, shown rather, revealed would be the proper word, but I'm expecting it to be early September. So yes, we'll find out in a little bit here. We also do have Vidal's official release as well. This is pretty cool with all these little stickers here. Obviously, they look fantastic in the jump, and we got the power, which I believe this is a Dragon Ball or an Ichiban Kuji mini prize. Alright, should be getting the Japanese September BSP dates soon. The IIRC GX Materia Yamcha and FES was scheduled for the first half of the month, while Burning Fire's extra costume was for the latter half of the month. These Gokus were so digitally rubbish. Yeah, these guys stink a lot. I would highly not recommend getting these 3 Goku figures. They're not good. And we'll see the finals of them actually. Yeah, so as you can see here, big boy poster for the My Hero Academia Ultra Impact figures. This is probably one of the fastest gacha game figure collabs I've ever seen, by the way. I know I don't talk about My Hero figures on this here, and even if you're interested, or not interested in My Hero rather, I should say, I guess whether you're interested in My Hero or not, frankly, it's just crazy that My Hero got a Ichiban Kuji set based off of a game this quickly. I don't think I've ever seen something like that happen that quick. I do like all of these figures. I just wish that like the figures were more unique, because I recognize all these poses from Ultra Impact, but I think it's just because in the game and the art style they look cool, but in 3D figure form they just kind of look like normal figures. Alright, so apparently the December versus Omnibus is being distributed via Family Mart in Japan, not 7-Eleven like the previous two. If there's no Ichiban show, that's bad news, because the IRC Dokkan Kuji was Family Mart and only had 20% of the store number 7-Eleven had for the Mei Kuji. Less stores, high demand for figures in the aftermarket. Stuff like Rolling Gogeta should be okay, but obviously no one's really caring about them, yes, which we don't have to really worry about. We did also get this cute little video for the Videl final figure here, and I gotta say, I am very happy with how this figure turned out. Obviously, I know a lot of people were really rooting for this figure to end up being pretty cool, especially considering obviously we literally never get Videl figures, so it's awesome to see that we're actually getting a decent one here, and the final product turned out good. Thank you, Bandai. Appreciate ya. Here's the box for the Glitter and Glam Videl. Obviously, the Glitter and Glamours line always does this goofy thing with these real flowers. Like, I don't mind what they're going for, like the look of the box necessarily, but seeing the real flowers there next to like all of this anime is just so weird. It's just such an interesting decision to pair those two together. The lot ratios for the upcoming Kuji set here, everything is 1 except for the Cell Jr., which kind of doesn't surprise me. That's like how many in one set are put out on the shelf at a time, basically. Apparently, Japanese release date will be December 11th. Interesting. So it looks like we'll have to wait a while. Obviously, it makes sense because this is a December Kuji. But alright, so gang, we talked about this figure a couple of times. We have also actually gotten to see some final pictures of this guy, which we'll see a little bit later in this video, because, you know, I've seen them scrolling through the timeline. I almost said the Twitter, which, I mean, I guess both are accurate. But this is the box for the SH Figuarts Figuarts 0, rather. I guess technically still SH Figuarts Super Saiyan 3 Goku. And as well, besides that, the actual SH Figuarts figure, the Cooler, and our boy Gohan are all out now for Asia. I do like the windowed box. Obviously, it is always really cool when they do windowed packaging for figures. That's always one thing that I love about the SH Figuarts figures, is you can always see the figure through the packaging, which is pretty neat. This is, of course, the Gohan without the fruit punch on it, which is just a different version of the regular one. So we'll be keen to see that when it comes up here in Baggy's post. Yes, very excited for this to come out on the 23rd for sure. The extra costume WCF. I don't even know what I'm the most excited for in this. Also, I don't know why the images are taking so long. Oh, there we go. I'm excited for everything, I think, frankly. Alright, so. Oh, no. Unfortunate, bro. So, as you can see here, we have confirmation. Obviously, this makes sense, you know, because we already saw it. That everything except for the last one prize for this set is going to be released overseas here, which is awesome. They've helped Baggy with a few things in the past, so very cool that they were able to help him out this time. Unfortunately, though, even though the Ultra Impact set is getting released overseas, that super cool Yu-Gi-Oh set with Yugi and Kaiba with all their cards like flying out behind them in the background, and then obviously the Blue Eyes White Dragon is like the third figure in the set, is not getting an overseas release. So if you want to cop it, you're gonna have to head over to the ebay.com, and your boy might just have to do that. I'm not even gonna lie, because listen, I collect Dragon Ball figures because I don't want to get into collecting another franchise, but those are like peak Yu-Gi-Oh, if I do say so myself. Alright, so here we have some more pictures of Yamcha. I believe we took a look at this in the past. Yamcha releases the 7th of September. 2 releases of the most interest in September, I imagine. Yeah, 100%. Definitely very excited for that. We have some multiple angled pictures of the December versus Omnibus Kuji. Obviously, getting multiple angles of these figures is always a very cool thing. Let me just open these up in a new tab, so maybe then that way they'll load. I will say, I did see the ones for Omega already, and it is kind of weird looking at some of these different angles, because obviously you're so used to seeing the one angle of the figure from the promo art, and then you see them from a couple different angles, and you're like, whoa, my whole world has changed. So you have these two back to back here. Obviously, they don't connect in any sort of way with the Goku and the Vegeta. Again, please just buy the Tag Fighters one if you're going to buy these. They're so much more accurate because obviously, you know, in the scene that they're from, they're not grounded, you know, on the ground. The Broly figure looks good. You know, this is a very solid Broly figure. But again, I would just recommend sticking with the King Cluster ones or some other Brolys that we've got because it's just kind of repetitive. Again, there's better Gogeta figures out there, but I think that the Broly and the Gogeta both don't look bad, obviously. Here's the boy Omega, which I know is one of the ones that people are probably the most interested in. This angle looks extremely goofy to me. Like, this one right here looks perfect for him. But for some reason, this just looks so silly. I don't know if it's just because of his cheeky grin that doesn't look as menacing from this particular angle. But, like, gosh, he looks so goofy. But, like, in a good way. Like, he looks like Omega Shinron. He doesn't look like bad goofy, like it looks like a bootleg or anything like that. I think it's just because Omega Shinron's design himself, albeit pretty cool, you know, can look a little bit goofy sometimes. Obviously, he's a big, spiky, white and blue mess. But I love it. So yeah, very cool stuff there. I am excited, honestly, to like see the different types of material that they use on this figure, because obviously they're probably going to use the more like rougher and textured stuff for Omega's skin. Does Omega have skin? Not going to let that thought creep into my mind too much, but the spikes on our boy here obviously are probably going to be a little bit more slick, a little bit more slippery in terms of the texture. I'm trying to think of a good figure to like compare what I think the texture will be for that figure, but I can't really think of any off the top of my head, unfortunately. Definitely excited to get this guy though, nonetheless. Obviously we have our boy Trunks here. Not too much of a surprise in terms of what we're seeing from these different angles here. I mean, this is probably just to be expected. It's our boy nice and buff. The hair looks good from all angles, so I am very excited to obviously get this guy in hand. Too, of course, Trunks has been absolutely killing it this year, which is great to see. And we do have the Cell and Cell Jr. from multiple angles here. First of all, Cell obviously looks fantastic. This is, of course, when he's waiting for the Cell games to begin in the Cell Games Arena, literally just chilling there. This would be really cool if you had some sort of like Cell Games Arena setup and you're able to put this figure just like smack dab in the middle of it. I think that'd be pretty neat. And one other thing that we do see with the Cell Jr. here is, if you notice, the picture on the left has our boy's hands up, and the picture on the right has our boy's hands down, meaning that this figure is also articulated just like the Cybermen figure was, which is cool because obviously most of the time ICHIBAN Kuji figures don't get any sort of articulation. So it's always really cool to see when they get a little bit of it, even if it is something kind of gimmicky like this, where it's like, I don't really know like how much of a difference for you on the shelf. You know, like Cell Jr. showing you how big the fish that he caught was versus him, like, getting in a fighting stance, you know. But it's still cool that they include it nonetheless, obviously. Very excited for that. And obviously here, even more angles of Trunks here. Very, very excited to get this figure in hand. The muscle looks fantastic. I love the look at the hair spikes. Wow. That's great. This is what I'm saying, bro. Ichiban Kuji makes good stuff. They just gotta, you know, they gotta know when, you know, to make the good stuff and when to hold it down. We have a small promo video of the December Nero Goku Black. Obviously, this figure right here is the Nero version of the Rose Goku Black that we got a long time from Grandista. Still don't know how I feel about this figure. I prefer the Legends one for sure, because from some angles, this figure just looks a little bit weird. From some, like the one that they're showing right now, it looks literally perfect. But from other ones, it just looks a little bit goofy. By the way, I'm not making this video full screen just in case there's any, like, you know, copyright shenanigans that your boy's not trying to get hit with, none of that. So unfortunately, I'm keeping it in a little bit of a small one. But obviously, Baggy's Twitter is included in the description below if you want to go check this out. We have high quality pictures of all of these guys here. Obviously, Cell looking fantastic. I'm very, very impressed with the way that this figure ended up turning out. I do agree, honestly, with Baggy. It is kind of unfortunate that out of all of these Cell poses that they could have chose, they did just do sort of a neutral standing Cell. But obviously, we don't have a lot of Cell figures like this, so I think it's alright. And obviously, again, even though this is sort of a generic pose, it is an iconic pose for the character. I mean, you know, literally waiting for the Cell games to start. Funny enough, this is also the art of the, like, countdown to one more day before the 250 million download celebration, or 200 million downloads, I'm sorry, where he's waiting in the Cell Games arena. We already saw the Trunks pictures, obviously these a little bit more high quality, though, looking absolutely fantastic, if I do say so myself. And we also have the boy Omega Shinron here in these close-ups from these goofy angles. Like I said, bro, I don't understand. Why does he look so funny? Like, again, it's not in a bad way or like a bootleg way. It's just his face is just very funny looking. It's just amusing to look at. I don't know. I think it's just because his grin looks so cheeky. He's like, oh, I will defeat you, Gogeta. I don't know. Obviously, the sculpting, though, on this guy looks fantastic. I think the spikes look great. I do agree with this guy, funny enough, that actually the Dragon Balls sculpted onto his stomach, chest, look really, really good. I'm actually really glad. I didn't even notice that they included the proper black stars on there, which, I mean, makes sense, because obviously they're the Black Star Dragon Balls, so of course they should be, but, you know, I didn't even notice that at first, so very cool. Glad that they obviously included that little detail there. Alright, so we have some high quality pictures of these guys as well. Onto the stinky stuff. Goku looks so unnatural, it's unreal. The Gogeta face is pretty awful. It's a little weird, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it definitely looks a little bit awkward. And Broly, interesting, has the exact same armor as the History of Rivals and almost the exact same fur too. Interesting. I mean, yeah, it makes sense that they would reuse the armor there, albeit, you know, obviously I wouldn't want them to, but, you know, I guess I understand why they did it. Yeah, again, like, this pose just looks so awkward on the ground, and even, like, Goku's stance and the way that his, like, arms are up in that way, like, it doesn't look like he's pulling back for a Kamehameha. It looks like he's about to pull back for a Sengun, and his other hand just happens to be there. I don't know. Very weird. Vegeta also looks like he's about to do some ballet. Very interesting. Goku's face sculpt, though, looks pretty good. That's one thing that I will say about this set, is that I think all the face sculpts are on point, which is kind of a shame that the rest of the body is, maybe besides Gogeta, his is a little bit wonky, but it's not the worst that I've seen for sure. But, like, that is one thing that's unfortunate about this Kuji set, because I feel like, you know, it happens in the past. Like, the Dokkan Kuji was a great example where, like, the rest of the figure was great, but some of their faces kind of had a little bit of a, you know, to them. But I feel like all the faces in this set are great, but some of the bodies are not as good. And then we have the boy Cell here. Like I just said, obviously, the Cyberman's arms are movable, which is really cool. I guess the picture's not going to load, but you can just see that he's moving them up and down there. Ichiban show confirmation was for Europe, so US folks have to wait a little bit longer before celebrating European. Obviously, we know it's coming to the US now. Are always ridiculously silly, so here's hope for the US. Obviously, yes, we are getting these for the US because, you know, we showed you the website earlier. I promise this is the last bit of information for the Versus Omnibus Kuji packaging sizes. But Goku is 20 centimeters and Vegeta is 21. What? Interesting. You have to buy both even if you just want the Vegeta. Now you guys should have all the information regarding the Kuji. Interesting. Wait, until packaging sizes, my bad. So Goku is shorter than Vegeta. I mean, I guess it's because he's squatting like this. That's weird, though. It doesn't feel right. Feels unnatural, if I do say so myself. Oh, that is a disgustingly blurry image. Low quality, look at the smaller prizes. 6 mugs, 7 metal trays, and 8 towels. 4 big, 4 small. Interesting. It'll be very curious to see what they decide to do for the smaller prizes of this set. I think they've been doing a good job with the smaller prizes recently, so we'll have to see. Wonder why we didn't get a front angle for this Vegeta. Oh, yeah. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, it does look a little bit goofy from the front, I gotta say. It's gonna look even weirder when we actually see it from, like, you know, looking at Vegeta's chest, I guess, that angle. I don't really know how to describe. I mean, I guess it is a front angle, because this is like a front angle for his face, but I mean, like, if you were standing directly in front of him, you know what I mean? That is gonna look a little bit weird, I'm sure. Interesting. Wow, this has been reused a lot of the time. So obviously, basically, the pants and the obi belt are the same, if not similar, as well as the jacket itself. Yeah, that is a little rough. I'm not gonna lie. I still think that obviously this figure is the best Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta we have, and frankly, I mean, it is a very iconic pose. I like it a lot. Obviously, you know, it's a pose that he hits in the anime, and also, funny enough, the SSR for the Int one. But yeah, I would highly recommend getting this over this any day. I think the pose in the face is just better regardless. Alright, yeah, so as we saw before, 60 bucks for this guy, and obviously 80 euros for them in Baggy's currency here. Funny enough, here's one of my tweets. Wow, look at that. Alright, so September, Back to the Film Kuji is also a part of Family Mart in Japan. Store search is being prepared, so guess we'll have to wait and see how many stores, and expecting similar for December, excuse me. Dokkan in February was also Family Mart, and wasn't a lot. If it is as low, you can kiss the ultimate Shinron goodbye. Yeah. Probably going to be hard to pick this guy up, which is unfortunate because I know that the regular version of this guy, too, is kind of rare now, as much as I would love to get it. The release for this man, looking good for the 25th. Very, 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 very excited for this guy. Obviously, the fabric looks so good. I'm hoping that these comments are not a bad omen as well, that the fabric ends up ripping on this. It does look like they used a little bit of a stronger nylon or something of that nature rather than like something a little bit weaker. But I do hope that the fabric can stand the test of time for sure. It'll be interesting to see what becomes of him. But he definitely looks better than Goku by a mile. Alright, so yeah, obviously we know that by now. Okay, so here is a real-life picture of the, oh my gosh, bro, Figure 0 Super Saiyan 3 Goku. This is just a size picture. Obviously, it is a little bit crunchy in terms of the quality. Not really meant to be an analytical picture, but just, you know, to give you an idea of the size here. This is pretty stinky in terms of the size comparatively. I know that the whole thing with the Figure 0 line is that it's supposed to be, you know, quality and detail over size for these, right? Like, I think the cooler figure from this line is a fantastic example of that, even though it is, I think maybe a little bit bigger than this Goku, around the same size. The detail and effects on it are insane, and that figure was like 80 bucks, so it's a little bit more justified. But for some comparison, yes, our boy Goku, one of my personal favorite, if not my favorite Super Saiyan 4 Goku figure on the left there, was only 36 buckaroonies. And the one on the right, of course, that being the Super Master Stars Peace Bam Press the World Figure Coliseum Goku, and the Z version, 60. And obviously a little WCF Super Saiyan 3 Goku is, you know, like 10 bucks or whatever. Yeah, it's a little bit of a yikes, bro. I do kind of agree with Baggy. I understand you also, the Dragon Ball Hunter feels, yeah, I honestly think, like, they should have made it maybe more like 80, if they were going to, you know, continue to make it this small. Like, that's the thing with Dragon Ball figures that has been a little bit of a scary trend, is that slowly but surely figure prices have been going up on various things. Like, the regular price figures were always 20, now I'm seeing them more like 25. Now I'm seeing them more like 27, even more so. The 36 was 35 before, you know, and obviously with this line, they used to be around 80, and now they're 100. So slowly but surely, without people noticing, they seem to be raising the price of these. And obviously the quality is not really increasing at all. Alright, so we have a UDM The Burst update here for 46. Scheduled to release early October in Japan. Again, your boy is looking forward to that full power Jiren, if I could get my hands on that one. I am hoping that maybe this ends up coming overseas in some form, so let's hope. Obviously, I should point out the Super Saiyan God Goku from UDM 47 had glitter in the hair on the actual, so I assume the same will be applied to UI here. Interesting. So these, ooh, these are cool. These are the only prizes I'm interested from the Back to the Film Kuji rubber coasters. Interesting. And a mask case or something. I just love the inverted colors of these. Yeah, that's cool. That is pretty sick. Yeah, I have seen these rubber coasters. These are very interesting. I think we did talk about these a little bit in a past video too. This is just what Baggy picked up. Obviously, we have a very interesting little reference here. The July Kuji subtitle was the same as the original DBZ DWC, aka WCF, which is pretty neat. Alright, we have some awesome art from the boy Fenyo. Very nice. Japanese release dates confirmed. Yamcha for the 7th, the FES line for the 16th, Burning Fighters for the 22nd, and a costume for the 22nd as well. Man, I cannot wait to get my hands on that for sure. Movie Deku releases the September 22nd, and no overseas release, unfortunately. Yeah, Stinky Face and FES Goku. Here we go. So we have some final images of the Glitter and Glamorous Videl. And I gotta say, I don't know what they did to change the figure, because if y'all remember, obviously there was a lot of talk about this figure's eyes. Here's the poster as well. That somebody like did a little fix for them too, and I don't know like what exactly they changed. Like there you can see the original promo image, and there you can see the new eyes of the figure. I can't really put my finger on it, to be honest with you, but whatever they did to like fix it, it's such a small change, but I think I like it better. And I think the figure turned out very well. So I'm definitely excited to get my hands on this for sure. Obviously, it's cool to have a Videl figure in any capacity, but, you know, obviously, this one coming out with the pigtails, excuse me, is very cool too. Extra costume packaging backgrounds. These are very cute. Obviously referencing everything that they come from here. We have Varroque's tweet about the Yamcha. He always does one before release and then after release. Very excited to get my hands on that as well. I have to take a look into the other GX material stuff I have sitting around the room. Packaging sizes for all of these bad boys. Holy cow, Omega Shinron is going to be huge. Oh my gosh, Trunks is actually just as big, but not as wide. Interesting. Assuming that the first number is height. Wow, okay, interesting. Those are some pretty big boys on the screen, if I do say so myself. Unfortunately, not for Europe with this ICHIBAN KUJI set. Reminder that the Burning Fighters is pretty small scale, but it's a line that's intended for new collectors. Yeah, that is pretty tiny. I mean, the Maximatic line is pretty big, but I know the FES line pretty well, so interesting. Both listed heights were 16 centimeters, but as you can see, scales are irrelevant completely, so that's why it's hard to judge off of anything but the listed heights. Yeah, because I believe it's like, I think maybe 16 centimeters is the height of just Goku himself, but not with the, you know, actual stand here. So very interesting. Yeah, it is definitely looks a lot closer for those of you who have been following figure collecting for a while. The DXF scale, which is another scale of Dragon Ball figures from way back in the day. I have a couple of Dragon Ball Heroes figures from that scale as well. Pretty small, if I do say so myself. All of Europe is confirmed for the ICHIBAN show, or at least the ones usually get it. No repeat of the March Kuji, where only a few European countries got it. Yeah, we did get the US information. Ooh, okay, so we have some more detailed look into this here. Interesting. Yeah, but it looks a little weird, I guess. I feel like the rip from both of his shirts is not like far enough down covering the obi belt. I don't know, maybe that's just me. It does look a little bit weird. I didn't really like think about it until Baggy pointed it out, but yeah, I guess it does look a little bit weird if I do say so myself. Wait, what? Oh, I thought that was a I thought that was like a Spirit Bomb Videl. That's kind of goofy, bro. Oh, that's funny. Look at all the metal coolers. Yeah, these are very cool cards, obviously, with the Shikishi art style here. All right, moving on up. Interesting. Gets even better. Yamcha managed to eke out the GX Materia Goku Black. Wow. That's pretty crazy. Obviously, both of those figures are pretty highly anticipated. Yamcha ended up being Goku and Gogeta too, which is pretty crazy, with 65 under his belt. You love to see it. Obviously, that is so cool that we're getting this. What am I looking at here? Okay. Does that say Free Gun? Is that the... or Kun? I don't know what the brand of this is. Very interesting. More DBS boxers. Better look at the Power Up Goku and Vegeta art. Also, international promo artist Goku versus Frost. This is so weird because Vegeta's hair looks more normal. His eyes are definitely way too small. But it also looks like Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Aura a little bit, but it's obviously the regular blue hair. And I don't think I've ever seen Kaioken with his hair spiked up that much. Interesting. We have Goku Black versus Super Saiyan 2 Goku. Isn't that the... That's literally the wall scroll on my wall. I think they just position the renders differently. That's interesting. Frost versus, wow, it's really weird saying Super Saiyan Whis outfit Goku. Interesting, though. Why are the eyes so small on all the characters? Interesting. Gotenks looks pretty cool. Again, the eyes are too small here, but they're fun on the other ones. Such a weird design, bro. What? This is very odd. Interesting. I don't know how I feel about these. These look more like briefs rather than boxers, though. Right? Because aren't briefs the one that have a little bit of length on the leg, right? Then boxers obviously are a little bit more of like a loose fit. Very interesting. Yes, finally this guy ended up coming out in the US. I actually have my copy of this figure. I really want to open this guy up on the channel, but I'm focusing on some Super Saiyan Goku stuff for the minute. So definitely going to be opening this guy up pretty soon, though. Obviously, I'm pretty excited for him. December distributor deadline is over, so the rest of January stuff could be revealed anytime now, but I'm expecting probably next week since the calendar hasn't disclosed full lineup, and we'll probably get the first lineup the next calendar update, which will be on the 1st. Ooh, these are cool. Okay, so slightly better quality pictures of the September Wafer stickers next week. Obviously, these are the ones that we saw coming up in V-Jump. Lots of crazy stuff here. We saw some pretty, I think, scuffed versions of these last time where the quality wasn't as good as these ones. But this is a pretty cool set. I think I say that with literally every Wafer sticker set, because it's true, bro. Like, the Wafer stickers always absolutely kill it. And funny enough, this might be a follower from me if he's talking about Baton Battle. But yes, these are what the Baton Battle stickers are based off of, if you are unfamiliar. The boy Tanjiro. Obviously, here we go. So this was, of course, the confirmation for the US and the pricing for each of these guys. Obviously, this is kind of why recommended. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry I tripped over that so hard. Getting these guys at Big Bad Toy Store, because obviously they are, or Big Bad Toy Store, I'm sorry, Enet Media. No like sponsorship or anything, just because I feel like they have the best prices out of everybody out there. But yeah. Glad they charged less for the Cell Junior, and obviously same price as it is for the Euros here. Very interesting. All right, moving on up. Ooh, yeah, this was, considering this is just a modded version, the original one would think it would release overseas, but alas, yeah. Unfortunately, this guy did not get a overseas release. So if you are wanting to pick up the Ultimate Shinron, obviously this is in the same set as the Omega and the Gogeta, you know, and the Cell. You're going to have to hit up the old eBay.com or try and get him from a Japanese listing because, unfortunately, he is not coming over here naturally, which really stinks. I don't remember if the original Shinron that he was based off of did or not. I have a feeling that it wasn't, but I think I'm also wrong at the same time. Let me know in the comment section. Something about that is getting mixed up in my brain, but if you're going to want this guy, you're definitely going to have to import him, unfortunately. Alright, so we did get a little teaser for the upcoming high-grade set. This is, of course, for the, well, high-grade series. Dragon Ball 10, end of game over stock fight. Majin Buu edition. Super Saiyan 3 Goku, Majin Vegeta, Super Saiyan Gotenks, and Majin Buu. So it'll be interesting to see how that looks. I think we may have pictures of that later on. Very interesting to see. It's a blessing to be popular My Hero, because no doubt this would happen in the US otherwise too. Yeah, confirmed. December My Hero will be a proper Ichiban Kuji in the US. No Ichiban show. Interesting. So I don't actually think that I've ever seen the US get an Ichiban Kuji. Interesting. Yeah, it's weird because it's like, as cool as this is to go in and like try and pull, you know, the prize that you want, it's almost better, I feel like, that we get it the way that we do in the States, because you can just buy the figure that you want rather than trying to get it from a lottery, right? Alright, so obviously this was the Sega Game Station numbers for these different figures here, and then absolutely getting crushed, unfortunately, by obviously Demon Slayer and My Hero. But I mean, that's not such a bad thing. Obviously, there's not as many current Dragon Ball properties right now. We had the boy and the girl Kefla and Goku chilling on their little stands here. Very interesting that Kefla gets this type of stand. I've not seen this one in a little while from a figure like this, but very nice. We also have, yeah, so unfortunately some crazy prices like we said. Thankfully the Saiyan Kuji arc, yeah, the Saiyan Kuji was definitely just like the solid prices across the board. This one is definitely a tweet that I can agree with. My boy Baggy, let's go, bro. 25 for the smaller prices, or for the smaller figures rather, is definitely much more reasonable. I suppose is the only good thing to come with the US staggered prices. Yeah, definitely. Just like I was talking about before. Okay, so we have a little bit of shenanigans with our boy Broly here. They were the best selling on Big Bad Toy Store when I made this post, and now they dropped to last of the bunch. Yeah. So obviously, you can see here that there is plenty of reused shenanigans with this Broly here in terms of reused digital modeling. I know for a lot of people, it may not seem like a big deal that they do this type of thing, but frankly, it just shows that they're lazy with it, and they could be doing so much better. It's literally my, like, moniker that has come with Bandai, right? This just shows that Bandai can make good stuff. And this is just an example of the opposite, right? A lot of the time, they cut corners and they reuse figures and parts when they clearly could give you a better product for a better price. Obviously, considering that this Broly is going to be 45 bucks and he's going to be smaller than the King Cluster Broly to the left of him for 50, when I feel like the King Cluster one is definitely more worth your money and will retain its value a lot better. I would also recommend not picking up this figure unless you really like Super Saiyan Broly. Obviously here, the face is reused, the legs are reused, the arms are also reused. You can see that the back of the armor is also reused here. And then, of course, for a figure that isn't even design accurate, yeah, unfortunately, obviously, this isn't accurate to the movie with a lot of different factors. We talked about it the last time we took a look at the Kuji. I would definitely not recommend picking up this figure, though. Alright, so this is kind of a little bit of an L, I'm not going to lie, for this figure. It is a very interesting place that I'm at with this guy. So obviously this is compared to the Fps Super Saiyan 3 Goku. I actually have this figure, and I really like it. Funny enough, I feel like the face looks a lot better than in this picture. But of course, this is a comparison from the boy Omacha Hedgela. That might take a minute to load, considering everything has been taking a minute to load tonight. But you can see that in terms of the size comparison, this guy is not much bigger than your standard FES figure, which is really, really unfortunate to see. Obviously, you know, the face as well. We were talking about this last time. What is in his mouth? The face, I feel like, doesn't look that good. Like, I understand that obviously it's kind of hard to do with the lack of eyebrows on the figure, but I still think that, bar none, the FES face definitely reigns supreme on this little bout. I kind of wish that they would just remove the dragon. I mean, I do like the hair sculpt for this, and I think that the dragon fist is obviously a very cool accessory here, but keep in mind, right, this figure is $100, and I definitely don't think that it is worth that price. Obviously, like I said, since pricing has been going up for a lot of these figures, you know, you got to be willing to pay a little bit more if you really want it, but this is definitely a case where I feel like it is certainly not worth it. And it's weird too, like, it definitely doesn't look like how this original piece of promo art is striving for. Like, that's obviously kind of the downward angle of that, but yeah, I definitely wouldn't recommend getting this. I was contemplating pre-ordering this guy for a fat minute, and I think I am quite glad that I ended up making the decision not to pre-order this. As much as I do like the dragon, that is definitely my favorite accessory, I can wholeheartedly say that I would have regretted this purchase for sure. I still don't know what's up with the inside of his mouth. That is very weird. Yeah, that's a little bit more closer to the angle of the promo art, and it still looks like his face is too elongated. Also, it looks like they literally put on a faceplate on like a peg, and didn't give him like a proper head, which is very weird. Yeah, definitely not my favorite look for sure. That's okay, but obviously his neck is a little bit stretched out. Let me know what you think in the comment section about this figure, obviously, since this is such a polarizing choice for me. Oh, and he got a scuff on it. Lovely. Right out of the box. That is definitely not something you want to see on a $100 figure. Mistakes like this. You can also see a scratch there. What was that, a plastic line right there from where they cut it from the machine? Yeah, definitely glad that they did not rip, or I did not rip off the band-aid and decide to actually cop this figure. I think we took a look at enough. Obviously, the dragon looks pretty good here. We'll continue on as the rest of these pictures load, but I'm definitely glad I did not decide to pick that guy up. This is also very exciting. This Kuji is also starting to release in the US. Funny enough, the Broly and the Gogeta from the set just landed on my doorstep the other day, so I am very happy to finally unbox these. I'll probably unbox this guy as soon as he comes out, though, just since we're kind of on the theme of Super Saiyan Gokus right now, because you know what's going on in Dokkan. But very excited to get this guy in my hand. Obviously, this guy is going to be a huge staple of my collection because, of course, you know, this is literally my favorite outfit for Goku, and I could not be happier that they made a proper figure of it. This was also pretty cool. I did retweet this on the Dokkan Assets account, but of course, this is a pretty little neat comparison that there is technically a figure for every single one of the Dokkan Awakenings of the brand new LR Goku. Obviously, we have the, what is the Versus series called for what that Goku comes from? That might actually be the Budokai, or the Buta, or oh my gosh, the world, or like what predecessed, or what came before the World Figure Coliseum, like the World Tournament. What is, it's Budokai, right? Yeah, definitely Budokai. I'm confusing myself for some reason. I'm having a brain fart. I'm sorry. I'm all over the place tonight, bro. I'm like so excited and also so all over the place right now. My bad. But regardless, there is obviously also a Bakayoro versus Frieza. I think that's what I'm confusing this one. But I think this is also just a different figure that's from, you know, what came before the World Figure Coliseum. For some reason, it's not coming to mind. I'll look it up afterward and then go, oh. Either way, though, obviously, we have the Fps Goku, the newer one, that is on the left there. And then in the middle, I forget what that Goku is actually from, like what line that it's from. It might be an FES figure. No. It is a, it's a World Figure Coliseum figure. That's right, because I looked it up trying to buy it the other day. Very cool, though, that each one of these poses technically has one. Look at this guy's Super Saiyan Goku collection. Wow, that's crazy. That is pretty dope looking, if I do say so myself. That's sick. And the little Bardock hiding in the corner there. Nice. Alrighty, moving on up here. According to 2 more listings, Boo will be pure Boo. Interesting. Target exclusive Goku Vegeta. Yeah, I've seen this guy before. Here's some more final pictures of Videl. Man, that angle is so good. I'm so glad that they didn't mess this figure up for sure. This is an interesting piece of Rose promo art. Definitely have never seen this before myself. Obviously, Baggy was just pointing this out because, of course, you know, it's pretty unique in whatever store that this guy is in. I'm not exactly sure where he's at. I'm sure, like, his local mall or whatever. Pretty cool, though, if I do say so myself. So here, ooh, interesting. Here's the LOS SS Goku unboxed sculpt. Is great, but the quality is definitely 11 years old. Yeah, for sure. Metallic paint is cool, though. SH SSG is a great sculpt, too. Captures the skinny look of Super Saiyan God. I'm going to repaint the trims white later since I have about 5 figures to do. Nice. Very cool stuff. Yeah, so look at all these Trunks figures. I wanted to point this out. This is very, very cool that we've gotten all these different designs for Trunks this year. Covering a lot of his actual looks, which is pretty impressive. Obviously, we have Dragon Ball Super with, of course, the literal giant spirit sword on our man's hand. We, of course, have the Super Trunks as well. GT Trunks, Armored Trunks, a better version of the Armored Trunks. We also, of course, have the Trunks with the black shirt. We have another base form Dragon Ball Super Trunks, and obviously the Dragon Ball Z base form one, which is pretty cool. I would definitely be down for a BoJack movie one as well. It would be sick to have him in this outfit in Super Saiyan or in not. Obviously, when he takes out Goku, that is a pretty iconic moment from the movie, so that would also be sick. And I do agree with Baggy. Definitely hoping that we get some Movie 9 Gohan love at some point, because that would be awesome. Alright, so May Kuji tells May actually gave us a clue about what the December versus Omnibus Gogeta and Omega were going to be. Guess we'll have to wait for high quality pics of December versus Omnibus tell us to see any potential clues for the future lineup. Yeah, because obviously I remember talking about this. It was very strange because obviously in this set we had a Z Broly and we had a Super Broly, and then of course we had the Goku and Frieza, and I was like, wait, why are Omega and Gogeta there? Because obviously they're kind of a weird choice, since of course, you know, they weren't present in the set, but it is kind of interesting that they ended up becoming figures. So we'll have to see if they actually give us any hints in the next one when it comes out. Obviously, we can't really tell what they are right now. We'll have to end up seeing what becomes of that. Interesting. Okay, so this is just different promo. I thought that was ready to figures. My bad. So here we go. This is the Oh boy. This is that high grade set that we were just taking a look at. Obviously, this is the Buu Super Saiyan 3 Goku, Majin Vegeta, and Gotenks. I think we have a higher quality picture of this later. Oh yeah, this is a little bit awkward. This is some more reusing here with these different hands. Obviously, they are literally the same hands, just positioned differently. I don't think I've ever seen Goku in the pose on the left, though, for sure. Very interesting pose to see Super Saiyan 3 in. Yeah, kind of ridiculous, but I do like the hair on the mini one more. We will get a higher quality picture of that, don't you worry. Okay, so he's just saying that. Alright, so obviously this is a older Super Saiyan 3 Goku. 11 years ago, wow, that's crazy. For 3 buckaroonies, yeah, that's pretty crazy. Obviously, that is $1 less than the current one. Interesting. Quality is okay, but I think his face is still a little bit goofy. But obviously, it is that old of a, what do you call it? It is a little bit of an older figure for sure. Oh yeah, this was unfortunate for Baggy that he actually missed the pre-order for that, man. Here we go. Here's some high quality pictures of these guys. As you can see here, obviously, they look okay. Of course, the high grade line is, funny enough, not really known for being the most high grade, ironically enough. Of course, you know, with it being a Gashapon set and all that. I think Majin Vegeta looks okay, but he is doing a little bit of a weird lean. And unfortunately, yeah, it does look like there's a little bit of shenanigans reusing Gotenks' hands from the Gogeta figure that, funny enough, was also a reuse. Yeah, that one is honestly like, wow, I can't even believe that they decided to reuse that one. That's pretty nuts, if I do say so myself. Looking at some older stuff here. Yeah, this is a crazy comparison. This is some FES numbers comparatively from 6 to 15. 175 at Sega, 56 at Taito, to 44 at Sega and Taito, to 22. Absolutely ridiculous, if I do say so myself. Makes sense, though, because obviously, you know, we've had the same character used a million times. And the Japanese DBS calendar revealed. I actually kind of like the art for this. Interesting. I like my boy 17 the most, for sure. My man is straight chilling there, bro. Alright. So here's some more store numbers for this. Obviously, Yamcha absolutely knocking it out of the park once again. Yeah, so this is where we're kind of getting into the shenanigans here. You'll see in a second. Obviously, after we, you know, get the calendar update. You'll see what I'm talking about here. Here's the final super mega. Holy cow, those are really high quality. Those are higher quality than I thought that they're going to be when I clicked on them. Obviously, higher quality versions of all these different wafer stickers look absolutely fantastic. This art is great. Hopefully, I can end up picking up a box of this. I would absolutely love to. That Vegeta looks so sick. Oh, that looks cool too with the green. I like that. And then here's the GT stuff too. I do like the boy Omega, and I really like the way that they do the fusion for Gogeta there. That's cool. Alright, yes, this is going to be very, very cool. So, apparently, the next GX Materia figure is actually going to be Krillin, which is very, very exciting, because obviously that probably means Kien-san. And not only that, we really don't get Krillin figures that often, so I am actually really, really excited about this myself. Funny enough, I just bought a smaller Krillin figure that ended up being a bootleg, so I don't know if I'm just going to end up keeping it and taking the L, but I am very excited for this figure nonetheless, because obviously we barely ever get anything Krillin related, so big ups for the boys on this one. That is definitely going to be pretty cool. So here we go. This is definitely a little bit weird, if I do say so myself. Nothing was added for January. Next, BF, Solid Edgeworks, and the Solid Zenkai line scheduled, but not in January. Calendar is consistently full of mistakes, so always treat it as a pinch of salt, but it implies no more figures in January, which is very, very interesting. Obviously, these are various different things that we have already seen for some of this, but a lot of also new stuff that we have here. We apparently have a tag, or we have the tag fighter Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta, right? Which we've already seen. Of course, we have the Krillin, which is, you know, the SH Figure Arts one, the strongest man on Earth. The Wafer stickers. I actually did not know about the Dragon Ball Arise King Cold. That's from the same line as that Drum and that King Piccolo figure. And we also have a gigantic series Bardock that is going to be interesting to see how that turns out. That might actually be the one gigantic series figure that I cop. Maybe besides the UI Goku. I don't know. We'll have to end up seeing with that one. But definitely a very interesting choice, considering I know, even though I love Bardock, I know he's not the most popular character for everybody. Again, that brand is Plex, who makes those two different lines. The Gigantic series is a little bit more reasonably priced than the Arise line, I think, for sure. But even so, the Gigantic series line is still a little bit overpriced. I think Plex is also the company that makes those weird Sophobi figures, too. So it kind of makes sense that I guess it's a little bit more expensive because, you know, it's kind of like hype beastie type of thing. I don't know. Either way, though, we do have a little bit of a preview for February and March here. Obviously, in February, we apparently only have Burning Fighters Volume 2, so that'll be interesting to see what that figure ends up being. We also apparently have a plush of, I think that it says Namek Star Dragon Ball. I don't know how those are going to look different than the regular Dragon Ball plushes. I don't know if that means it's going to be like Shinron, like the Namekian Shinron, right? Like Parunga, which would be cool because obviously we do have some regular Shinron plushes. Maybe I've actually seen it before and I just don't realize it because, you know, I'm not as in tune with the plush game. But in March, we do have another solid Edgeworks figure. That's going to be interesting to see how that ends up because obviously the solid Edgeworks line has kind of been a disaster up until this point. We also have that GX Materia Krillin mentioned there, which is very exciting. And then we apparently have another figure from the Zenkai Solid line, so that'll also be interesting to see what that figure ends up being for sure. We're supposed to get January information earlier this month, so again, we're not really getting anything else other than Tag Fires. Guess we'll know for sure in a week or so. Higher quality production image for this. Last time Goku got significantly ordered was the Maximatic Super Saiyan Goku, which released in October 2020, almost an entire year ago. Tokyo Store number that was 75. Goku is no longer commercially viable. Yeah, which honestly, I know for a lot of people seems like such a weird thing to say. And it's like, why are you not excited about Goku? But there's been so many figures that have been released that the hardcore collectors who collect Goku are tired of collecting Goku because we've collected 1 million of them already. So obviously it's very exciting to see, though, that because of that we'll actually get some other characters that don't have figures get some figures, because there are plenty of fantastic Goku figures out there that I could already just recommend for you right off of the bat. And definitely going to be interesting to see what the secret rare is for this set as well too. Here is 2 different Yamchas figures, obviously sculpted by different people. I like them both for different reasons for sure. FYI, Zenkai Solid has a universal brand of DBS like FES, so Volume 3 being DBS branded on the calendar doesn't necessarily mean it'll be DBS form. I suspect they're getting the non-DBS ones out of the way first. Obviously, if you don't remember what the Volume 2 was, it was this one. We talked about how that's kind of like whack because, of course, we just got a re-release of the older figure in the same pose a little while ago. Not that the figure's bad, you know, it's also sculpted by a good sculptor. It's just still weird that, you know, again, they just re-released a figure that they already did. Alright, so we already took a look at those. This is also an interesting piece of news. I will definitely keep an eye out for these. I'll have to hit up some of my local places that I know have Gashapon machines. But apparently, the August Wafer Candy Figure 06 will release in the US, which is going to be very interesting. I do quite like this set, even though it is pretty basic. Obviously, Chi-Chi being in there is really cool, because we never get Kid Chi-Chi figures. And, obviously, the Super Vegeta from this set is pretty cool as well. And I don't know if I've ever personally seen this particular line, like the Wafer sticker figures, out in the wild. I've obviously seen UDM and, like, the Versus series and stuff like that, but I don't know if I've ever seen this line out in the wild. Maybe one time, because I do have a Vegeta, but I think I ordered it online for cheap. I don't remember. I don't know. Very interesting nonetheless, though, for sure. Obviously, this was that Amazing Heroes Deku from the movie that we saw before. And this was what I really wanted to talk about. So, very, very interesting. Apparently, the Tag Fighters are going to be the only prize figures for January. Now, I don't know how to feel about this, because it's like kind of weird, because it's like on one hand, I'm like, ooh, that's a little bit of a yikes, because I wonder if that means that, you know, Dragon Ball figures are on the decline. I mean, I guess it's kind of been obvious for a while now, considering how much they've been getting creamed by other properties, which I don't think is a bad thing, because obviously, you know, Dragon Ball doesn't have a current anime right now. And of course, you know, My Hero and Demon Slayer are absolutely blowing it up in terms of worldwide popularity, so it kind of doesn't surprise me. But I guess on the other hand, you know, saving people money, because obviously that means that, you know, they don't have to buy any other figures for the month, unless they plan on buying these, which I think that most people are probably going to skip these, including me, because I have plenty of Super Saiyan 4s already, and plenty of them that I like already. Again, if this was the fusion pose, I would have bought it in literally a heartbeat. But unfortunately, you know, it's just them. And this is a scene from the anime, but it's just like kind of lame, I guess, as a choice. Either way, though, let me know in the comments what you think about this for sure. What do you think this means for Dragon Ball figures? If it's bigger than just, you know, nothing being there, or if it's, you know, just kind of like, oh, well, you know, that's all they got for the month. Also, keep in mind, I know some comments on this were also saying that it is kind of like they could be preparing for the movie, which will be kind of interesting to see what merch they do end up releasing for that. I'm sure we'll get some kind of initial Ichiban Kuji, just like we did with the Broly movie, so we'll end up seeing what becomes of that. So my theory was that we might see February and March stuff revealed this month too. Now January information has lifted. This could possibly be, yeah, we'll be interested to see what we end up seeing from that. Okay, so we do have another Treasure Rally releasing. Ooh. I have wanted this Pirate Goku figure for so long. Obviously, getting a launch is pretty cool. Mercenary Tau Turles, but definitely, I think, funny enough, I forget the name of this robot is, but this scene from Dragon Ball honestly might just be my favorite thing out of this, because obviously he never gets any merchandise, so that's sick that he is actually getting a figure. Very cool. Glad to see that, actually. Overseas, Volume 3 makes up 5 from Treasure Rally 2 that released in Japan back in 2019. Presumably, we'll get 5 or 6 more of these in February. Interesting. So we got what? So Goku and Launch makes sense because they're in every one. And then Turles and our funny robot man, Pirate Robot. And then Mercenary Tau from this. Okay. I mean, if it's Popo, I'll be interested. But if it's Metal Cooler and other Cooler, I don't know if I necessarily care. Yeah, so this is something else that I'll throw in here, even though this is kind of more like, you know, Dokkan news, I guess. But it's also technically figure news. It's looking increasingly more likely we may get February prize figure information this month rather than next month. So we should find out if there will be a 7th anniversary collab figure or not soon. This is obviously, it will be blanked out, right? Because this happens most of the time where the figure ends up blanked out, but we see the name of it. The Jump calendar hasn't listed anything, but last year it never listed the 6th anniversary figure, so that's why it's still up in the air. Yeah, we'll have to see what ends up becoming of that. Alright, we'll get the rest of the January releases tomorrow, if any, hoping that the Resolution of Soldiers can finally finish releasing. We just have these 2 left. Yeah, for sure. It'll be interesting to see if this full set gets re-released. I do actually have a bunch of these figures in the backlog that I am waiting to open. I did get the Gohan re-release, and I do have... I don't know if it's actually the re-release of Goku and Vegeta, because I got them off of Amazon and not like, you know, a more recent re-release. And I honestly might actually seek out the original Gohan and return the re-release, just because I think I like the original set better. But we'll see, and we'll see how the re-releases fare for these 2. We obviously... Oh, we actually didn't take a look at this yet. Okay, so this was something else that I wanted to note, because we did not take a look at this last time. I feel like it's important. Whatever the February Burning Fighters is, it will confirm either way if a line is based off of the greatest Super Saiyans, almost said Super Sillies, illustration or not. For Cake Gohan and Armor Trunks, figured across that it is. Yeah, hopefully... if it is based off of this image, that would be really, really cool, because A, you could, you know, kind of recreate this image and have the figures in 3D in front of this piece of art, but obviously having a Super Saiyan 1 Gohan with the cloak would be very, very cool. Obviously, we have the Grandista one, but moreover, it's nice to get more figures of it, and obviously Armored Trunks and Armored Vegeta are sick. Very, very interesting. My concern is that the Zenkai Volume 1 illustration was based off of this illustration, but we stupidly never got the cell. So even if the BF Goku is based off the above illustration, I'm still worried they may do something random for BF Volume 2 and not from the illustration. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they end up doing. If it is truly a line for new collectors, then I mean, this one would be alright to pick, but it would also kind of make sense that they would maybe not just do Cell Saga, so not sure about that one. All right, yeah, this was also kind of funny. Kevin Smith, I don't know who this guy is, so kind of goofy that he got a figure from Cupasake. Yeah, here's some other My Hero stuff, and obviously we also have some One Piece, we have some Demon Slayer, some various choices for these figures. And yeah, here's those Namco exclusive Gokus, and they look terrible. Please, 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 nobody buy these. They look terrible. The base form Goku one is definitely the best out of all of them, but there are so many better Goku figures that you could get that these are just not worth your money. And that's the important thing, I think, to remember when people recommend not to buy a figure, is that it's not because necessarily that, like, if you enjoy this one, don't buy it. It's that there's better options out there. Okay, so yeah, here was another images of the release for these guys, which is interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Confirmed BSS, which means Banpresto Special Selection. So between this and Treasure Rally, only re-release overseas. Why not save December exclusives for this month? Makes no sense. Yeah, very weird. Okay, so yeah, this one also is a little bit crazy, because obviously there's nothing new with this particular figure. It is just a re-release, but as you can see here, they were doing this reusing shenanigans for quite a long time now, which is very crazy to see that they have just kind of been, you know, doing this for a while. It's just sort of been only more apparent because I guess maybe they've just been getting more lazy about it and less noticeable. This one is like maybe a little bit less, I don't know, like this one I feel like is a little bit more excusable. I kind of go back and forth with it, which I know is not necessarily the best. But like, I feel like for some figures it makes a little bit more sense. And there are obviously some little differences in this one, right? Like the sculpting is a little bit different, a little bit lighter maybe on the Quinto-un one. Quinto-un rather, excuse me. Funny enough, I used to want this Fps Goku because I've wanted that in my collection for a while. But yeah, interesting to see that the reusing has been happening for quite a while. Japanese Wafer promo video with a VA sneak peek at the collection file. I'm not going to click on that just because I don't want to get copyrighted. And here we have a final January roundup for Dragon Ball. Obviously, the Super Saiyan 4 figures with the Banpresto Special Collection, or Special Selection rather, excuse me, and the Treasure Rally, which is definitely what I'm the most excited for sure. Very interesting that's going to be that small. Yeah, so this was kind of an interesting preview. So SH Figuarts revealed their new event exclusive figure. Unfortunately, it is another Goku, but interestingly enough, it is a battle damaged Ssbk Goku. And funny enough, actually, with this figure, this was obviously something that fans have been wanting for a while. But I know that Demoniacal Fit, a company that obviously technically they are bootlegs, but I would say more third party, because whenever I think bootleg, I think like not good quality. But regardless, they made this a while ago, and it was so funny because on Tamashi's Instagram post about this, like the video that these screenshots come from, DF literally commented a bunch of laughing emojis, which I thought was so funny, literally laughing in their competitor's face. I was like, wow, these guys have some these guys have some, you know, steel, like crazy, bro, that they're just willing to go out here and attack their competitor like that. Wild. All right, so apparently the secret version of the Wafer set was actually a Gogeta. Personally, I actually like this better than the regular one. I mean, I like the fusing in the background for that one better, but I think I like the color scheme on this one better. Kind of doesn't surprise me that it is just Gogeta. It would have been cool if it was one of the more like slice of life sort of ones, but that's alright. Not too mad about it, to be honest. Tuesday's GX Material Finals. I am away from views, so I won't be posting much, but you guys should be up there with all the merch stuff anyway. Yeah, definitely chillin' in that regard. And I definitely am excited for this guy to become, well, in my collection. Hello, Stinky Goku. Sorry, bro. Get off the screen. We got the Goat Yamcha. Never thought I'd be saying that. in the building now. Yeah, this figure looks absolutely fantastic. Again, we've taken a look at this guy a couple times before, but again, the finals look great. Varrock always does a killer job on the GX material line. Definitely one of my more favorite lines in recent time in Dragon Ball history. Obviously, we not only get some characters that we don't usually get, but obviously the effect pieces are really, really cool. Thank you, Yamcha, for coming through, being the GOAT. I can't believe I'm going to own 2 Yamcha figures after never owning any. Crazy, bro. Crazy. But yeah, he looks great. So definitely excited to pick that guy up. We have obviously all the stuff releasing for Japan. And then this was just a Nejiri that ended up being the figure from that My Hero set that's coming up. And that is actually everything that we have for today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely let me know what you're going to be picking up coming up here soon. It is very interesting to me that these guys ended up being the only figures for January in terms of Bam Presto figures. I'm going to be very curious to see if that means anything going forward, or if this month just happens to be this way just out of coincidence. Let me know again what you think about all that in the comment section below, and of course let me know what your favorite figure was we took a look at today, and of course what you thought of all the information that we took a look at. Other than that though, I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. I will see you again in another 2 weeks for another Dragon Ball figure news. Excuse me. Oh my gosh, that's all the water I drank in this video. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. As well, if you have not seen yesterday's FES Super Saiyan Goku unboxing, definitely go check that out. Worked hard on that video. I think it turned out really well, and obviously it's a fantastic figure, so definitely go check it out. Other than that though, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Dokkan Assets out. Peace.